go. It is Tuesday. It's the 23rd of September. This is Wayne Goldsboro Television. Hello, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best. Good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Hope you're doing well today and happy everything to you there, right?
That's right.
Today, the first full day of autumn. It moved in last night about 8:30, 8:29 or so.
It's officially fall.
And I feel fallish.
Do you?
I do. I feel fallish a lot. Oh, wait a minute. That's foolish. Never mind. That's okay. That's another story.
Ya.
Okay. Who's on today's program?
On today's program, we have Dr. Atkins. He's always fantastic whenever he comes to talk with us and share. So what topics is he discussing?
Well, he is an oncologist, so we're going to be talking about cancer and things associated with that particular topic. And Jim Atkins is one of the noted oncologists nationally recognized.
Absolutely.
And he is certainly one who would considered to be an expert, if you can have experts in that field. And he's very knowledgeable, and he's going to give us a lot of good information.
True.
All right.
Then we also have Paige Leonard, and she is the coordinator for Crime Stoppers of Goldsboro, Wayne County, and she's here talking about a crime of the week and how you can potentially help solve a crime that's happened here in our community.
She is one tough person there, and if you're thinking about breaking the law, you better think twice, because you don't want Sergeant Leonard after you.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. And she does a great job and has for years
of
keeping Crime Stoppers up and running and very organized.
That's exactly right. Yes, that's exactly right. Well, today is National Voter Registration Day, is that right?
Really, today?
Well, it's the 23rd of September, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll believe it.
If it is, that's right. Oh, by the way, want to get you also, we're going to have some information for you here in just a little while about our brand new voter information site from the Board of Elections here in Wayne County.
Yeah, that's a nice site. It's very convenient.
It is, and it's got so much information. That's what it's all about.
Proud of them.
All right. The only thing that is not covered is the name of the candidates running for office. And you can get that. You know, there's sample ballots as well the closer we get to the day of the election. But you need to do that on your own. But some of the laws have changed, so you'll want to be checking this out. There's a lot of good information. If you don't, for instance, you don't know where your polling place is, where you need to go to vote, you can find out easily. And they often, I think on this particular site, they also have a photograph of the polling place, so you can go and easily recognize where it is and the times and all that.
Great. Anything else happening today?
Well, it's also Restless Legs Awareness Day. Now, that's a serious syndrome, and you need to be aware of that. Also, today is Checkers Day.
Checkers. Playing checkers, the game?
No, this is the dog checkers. Back when Richard Nixon was president, somebody gave him a dog for Christmas, and the dog's name was Checkers.
This is a day honoring him?
It was a black and white Cocker Spaniel.
Okay.
Well, this is the day he made the speech about Checkers. Somebody made a big deal about it and told him that he can't receive a gift like that he was going to have to give it back. Somebody did that, you know.
Yeah.
You know how people are.
I know.
So anyway, he went on television, made a big deal about it, made a speech, says, I don't care what you say, we're not giving this puppy back.
We love our dog and he's ours now.
That's right.
Okay.
He belongs to Tricia and Pat and me.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not giving him back yet. So
All
he
right,
didn't.
There
All
you
right.
Go. Let's see.
Now let's see.
This Sunday, actually, the 28th at 7 o'clock p.m., there's something else offered at the Paramount, as always.
Really? What's going on?
Almost every night there's an event happening.
I know.
Very affordable events. And this one is a show called Tricked, T-R-I-C-K-E-D, Tricked.
Tricked.
It is, and it's at the Paramount, 7 o'clock p.m. If you want to find out more information about any of their programs and their shows that they're offering, go to GoldsboroParamount.com. Everything is listed there, and usually every single one of their shows, if it's a live performance, there is a YouTube clip of the actual performer, so you can see what type of performance it is.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yeah, they're making it extremely convenient for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. The Center for Environmental Farming Systems, or CEFS, one of the nation's foremost centers for research, extension, and education in sustainable agriculture and local food systems, is going to be celebrating its 20th anniversary this year with special programs and events. For instance, coming up on October 17th, CEFS is partnering with the USDA's Natural Resource Conservation Service and the North Carolina Agricultural Foundation. And they'll be hosting a day of soil-related educational activities at its 2,000-acre Goldsboro Research Farm, CEFS, out at what they call Cherry Farms.
Right. If you haven't ever been there,
Oh, wow.
It is amazing.
It is an amazing
I didn't know
place.
what it was. I'd heard of it, but had never really been on site and experienced it. And did it a couple years ago, went out for a tour. I was blown away.
Yeah.
All the research that happens right here in our county by Cherry Hospital.
And that research is used internationally.
Absolutely.
It is. This is one of the it's one of the best kept secrets. Nobody knows about this.
Yeah, very
but
few.
research that is done here in Wayne County, North Carolina at the CEPS location is used around the world. It is indeed. Soil Liberation. Soil Liberation is going to be about healthy soils, healthy farms, and healthy food. And will feature speakers including the current and former CEPS researchers. The Soil Liberation will also feature demonstrations including a rainfall simulator, cover crop demonstrations, field tours, exhibitors, a poster session, and lunch. If you're a farmer, you need to go to this thing. And if you're not a farmer, you're still interested, well, you can go anyway. That's right. And you can go online to get more information, or you can go online to...
Where do they go? What's the site?
Well, you can go to ncsu.edu/...
Oh, wow.
CES, Cooperative Extension Service.
Okay.
And then click on Wayne. And I'm sure that on that site they'll have an information sheet about that. Or call our friends out at the Cooperative Extension Service office.
They can guide you.
At 731-1520. Or 21, 22, or 23, or 24, or 25.
All those extensions
All
work.
the above, yes. All right.
Well, Wayne, the Taste of Wayne is coming up right around the corner. It is October the 11th from 11 in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon.
I love it.
You sample all the culinary deliciousness Wayne County has to offer.
Culinary deliciousness.
All ages are welcome. You can find out more about that and purchase tickets on the United Way's website. I don't know what that is, do you?
UnitedWayne.org.
Very good. That kind of came back to me.
There you go. I knew it would.
UnitedWayne.org.
That's it.
Taste of Wayne. Don't want to miss it. It's fantastic.
All right.
All right, let's go to our interviews and hear all about what Dr. Atkins has to tell us.
Today we welcome Dr. James Atkins, oncologist here in Wayne County, to the studio, and we are glad to see you.
Thank you. It's
How
good
you
to
doing?
be here.
Good to have you with us this morning. We got several things to cover. We want to start with, tell us about the Cures for the Colors. What is that? And
Well, Cures for the Colors is a tax-exempt organization put out by, it's part of the Southeastern Cancer Care, which is the parent company that has the 501c3 tax-exempt program to raise money for cancer patients in Eastern North Carolina. It's only for people who live east of I-95 or who live in the counties that I-95 traverses, so it's literally just for Eastern North Carolina. And they've raised, it's about 4 years old now, and the last 2 years they were able to disperse over $100,000 a year to cancer patients, and it's continued to grow. This year, in 9.5 months, they've already dispersed over $100,000 to cancer patients, and we still have another 3 months or so to go of the year. So
you keep saying this goes to cancer patients. This is not for research.
no, this money, 75% of it actually goes for either gas cards or food cards, or at least over the last couple of years it has. Some goes to the electric company for somebody if their electricity is about to get shut off, or for rent occasionally. So it goes for different things. The board of directors has it set up so that if you're renting from your parents, it won't go for rent. Okay. Your parents have got to suck it up. In that case. But you know, so you don't get kicked out of your house, because when patients are, I mean, I know the recession's over. I've seen it on the internet, and you can't put anything on the internet that's not true.
Oh, it's got to be on. If it's on there, it's got to be true.
So, but still, a lot of people in Eastern North Carolina are hurting, and so people generally are having trouble. Most people are having trouble going from paycheck to paycheck, and then you throw in something like cancer, and it really puts a monkey wrench into the system, and then they're having trouble putting food on the table. And so that's why a lot of it goes to putting food on the table, getting them gas for their car so they can go to the doctor's office or maybe go to work or whatever. And right now patients are able to get up to $1,000 in a year, and we've been very fortunate with the support we've had from the community. I know last year at Thanksgiving time, Butterball, a local organization,
wonderful people.
Yeah, they actually donated turkeys to help to give out to some of our patients. So the community support has been extremely positive, and this year I suspect we'll probably end up giving out 120, 140,000 somewhere, and it goes just to cancer patients. And the number of people that are coming in for assistance is growing, which is good, and that they are hearing about it and they're able to get the assistance. And $1,000 is not a lot of money, but if it may make the difference of whether you're going hungry.
That's right.
And for most of us, that's hard to imagine, not having food to put on the table for your family. But these are real things that happen here in Eastern North Carolina.
So aside from making contributions directly to Southeastern Cancer Care and Cures for Colors, how does someone participate?
Well, they've had a number of different events. The biggest events in the spring where they have the 100-mile event. But since then they've had a trail ride, which I think had over 100 horses in trail ride event this year. They've had a golf tournament just this past weekend. It was on the 19th, and they had a dancing for the cures. It was on the 20th,
right,
to raise funds for it. They're having a glow run in Wilson called Glowing for a Cure, which is October 4th at 8 o'clock. So that's at the Cavalier Park. So they've got that set up.
That's in Wilson.
That's in Wilson.
Right.
And so it's not just Goldsboro that's raising funds for it. In Jacksonville, they've also just had a fashion show. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's on the 3rd of October.
So 3rd of October.
There's a fashion show going on down there to raise funds. Also in October, Curves here in Goldsboro is having, from what I understand, a 5K and a 10K run. So if people are interested in that, it's a glow run. It'll be at night with glow sticks.
Oh, wow.
And again, Glowing for the Cure, and they're raising funds to help people here in North Carolina.
Just a lot of support,
there really
and it's growing.
It's growing. The events continue to grow, and the board of directors, in last year up until about a month ago, the board, we were limiting our patients to $750 a year because we needed to try to spread the funds out as far as they could go. But the funds have improved, and so that we're now able to actually raise it to $1,000 a year for patients. So, and it's for patients who either have had surgery, radiation therapy, or chemotherapy within the last 12 months.
Now, that's information for those who wish to give or participate in any of the events. But now, what about someone who do they come through? From where do you get these people?
They'll call our office. Many of them are our patients, but they don't have to be patients that see us in the office. They can be people who are going to Raleigh or going elsewhere, then they need gas money.
Right.
I mean, some people may be getting some radiation treatments, say at Duke or something, or at Chapel Hill or in Greenville, and back and forth. I mean, you're going to use your tank of gas or half a tank of gas going to Raleigh and back.
Yes.
And so, and at $3.20, that's better than $4, but at $3.20, it's still a lot of money. And if you're doing radiation 5 days a week for 6 weeks, you're talking about a lot of cash you've got to put in your tank just to get back and forth.
Yes,
and
indeed.
So they'll call our office. We'll send them to the patient advocates. The patient advocates in our office. We have patient advocates throughout all 4 of our offices in Eastern North Carolina. But they know the system. They know how to get people assistance, and they can fill out the paperwork. We do have to have proof that they've had cancer.
Right.
So you can't just say, "Oh, I had cancer. I want some money."
Yeah, can't do that.
No, we've got to have some records to really prove it, because there will be people who try to scam the system. But I think it's been very good, and the board of directors has been very supportive in developing the system.
And I'd like to get a list of those people trying to scam the system.
Oh, I tell you, yes. I mean, but there always are people.
Oh yes, oh yes. But again, now your office is Southeastern Medical Oncology,
right?
And you're saying that regardless of whether they're patients of yours or
somebody in Greenville or
anybody,
Moorhead,
as long as they're a cancer patient
east of I-95.
East of I-95, they can receive
help. Can receive the help, and that's the good thing. It's to help people here. I mean, charity starts at home.
Yeah.
And so we've got to take care of our people here in Eastern North Carolina. And so why shouldn't we expand it to west of I-95? Well, west of I-95 they have the Red Door, they have Susan Komen, they've got a number of other organizations. For some reason, Susan Komen and the Red Door do not cross I-95. They do not come east to help people. And so there's a need.
There is a need.
And so now we've got a system in place that'll help some of the people anyway. It's not going to help everybody, but it will help a number of the people.
Let's change gears here just a moment, if you don't mind, and talk about. I want to know if there's anything new in the research area.
Well, research obviously is growing
constantly,
and the problems. The good thing is we still have a number of clinical trials that are open. The only bad thing is that the government is cutting back on the number of clinical trials or patients that can go on clinical trials in our country. In the past, about 3% of adults have gone on clinical trials, and we've generally put on about 35,000 people on clinical trials every year in the United States. Right now, the government is cutting back on the fund, and it's because they don't have money.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we're a debtor nation. I mean, if you don't have money, you can't do some things.
That's
and
right.
so they've had to cut back, they've had to pare back, and so the number of clinical trials that the NCI will be supporting is going to be back into the neighborhood of about 15,000 patients on clinical trials a year. So it's cutting the number of eligible spots for patients roughly in half. We're still very committed to clinical trials. We were actually, now we're part of something called an NCORE, which the government has a number of organizations in the United States that do clinical trials, and the NCORE is the new system for the communities, and we were fortunate to be a part of one of the NCORE grants, and so Goldsboro is part of the NCORE. That's based out of Winston-Salem, and so we're very excited about that because there's only about 30 or so NCOREs in the United States, and we're part of one of them.
We're one of them.
So that'll give us access to more clinical trials still for our patients, which is ultimately where you want to be. You want to be on the cutting edge. And genetics is changing too. I mean, people look at their families and they say, okay, everybody in my family drops dead at 50 with a heart attack. Guess what you need to be thinking about? Dropping dead at 50 with a heart attack.
Yeah.
So you need to take care of your heart.
Right.
Some families, there's a lot of cancer. And then those cancer-prone families, we have developed, not we, but we in oncology, the collective we, I guess, there are now tests available for some families that you can actually determine what the genetic factor is. Everybody knows about BRCA1 and 2, which from what the news tells us, Jolene, that was her problem and she elected to have bilateral mastectomies. But there are other genes that we now have as well. And there's actually a genetic test where you can actually test for 25 different genes now that put families at risk for cancers.
Really?
So there's not only the breast cancer risks that we worry about, but also ovarian cancer, colon cancer. There are some genetic risk factors for endometrial cancer, stomach cancer. So there's a number of different cancers that actually have some genetic factors that we can test for if the family has a very strong family history for cancers. And the reason that's important is that if you are one of those families, then you need to pay attention and you need to think about your family being genetically tested, and if they're positive, then they need to think about colonoscopies. They need to think about other things to make sure they stay healthy.
Now, a little while ago, you mentioned the internet. Now, there's a lot of information on the internet, and not all of it is correct. So, what would you suggest? Some of the perhaps where would someone get information that if they need to know more about cancer?
Well, WebMD is good.
WebMD.
And the other one that I like that people can get into is called UpToDate.
UpToDate.
UpToDate.com, and that's where most of us go to when we want when we're searching things and want to be get the most current, even more current than we can find in our textbooks and literature, as we go to UpToDate.com. So UpToDate is a great resource, but they have a component that gives for patients, and it's not just for doctors. But it's a lot of it is physician oriented, and it covers, from our point of view, it covers everything from Ebola to cancer to genetics, you name it, it's there. So UpToDate.com is an excellent source for medical personnel and also for patients, but WebMD is also good.
Okay, I'm going to throw something from left field here. You mentioned Ebola as well. Now, Ebola is a viral disease that is deadly.
Right.
How is there a connection? Is there reason for concern? Ebola and cancer?
No, not between the two. But Ebola, Ebola will. The epidemic is the biggest epidemic we've ever had. We've known about Ebola for a long time. We didn't know what animal it was in that was the natural reservoir, but I think they do know at this point in time. But so the Ebola virus, there's actually 5 hemorrhagic viruses in Africa. Ebola is only one of them that we have to be concerned about. And we have to be concerned because it's in the epidemic stage right now. And people say that it will get here to America. But even if it gets here to America, there's no reason for alarm because it's not difficult to control as long as you use some fairly simple techniques like, you know, that we would deal with wearing appropriate garments and gloves. The problem is in Africa, you know, if somebody is sick and dying at home, they're not going to be wearing gloves. They're not going to be wearing garments. They're, you know, they're dealing with their dying family member, and so there's the epidemic there is going to be much more difficult to control than it would be in a more developed part of the world. So yes, eventually it probably will get to America, but I think there'll be just some sporadic cases. That's sort of the thought process right now, and that it will be fairly easy to keep under control here. But right now in Africa, they obviously are dealing with a very serious problem that will continue for a long time to come.
All right, very good. Dr. James Atkins, oncologist with Southeastern Medical Oncology. And are you on the board? Are you the chairman? Are you the owner of Southeastern Cancer Care? Or?
Well, I'm on the board. We have an attorney, a CPA, an insurance individual. We have some patient advocates. We have a gentleman who is a trainer at one of the gyms in town. So we have a number of different people on the board, and we have one other person from our office on the board, our office manager. So there's actually about 7 or 8 people on the board that have developed the policies and the procedures, and as we try to move this thing forward.
And is that 919-580-0000?
That's our office number, and so if people want some assistance, that's who they would call, and they can talk with the patient advocate. 919-580-0000. Right.
Thank you, Dr. Atkins.
My pleasure.
Today we're talking with Sergeant Paige Lerner, the coordinator for Crime Stoppers here in Goldsboro, Wayne County. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me again.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
And you?
I'm doing fantastic,
Wonderful.
but we need the public's help again, right?
Yes, we do.
What do we have?
We have an assault that took place September 12th of this year, which was a Friday night at about 1 o'clock in the morning in the 100 block of North John Street, which is right in the downtown area. We had a Hispanic male that was down there, and down there with another friend. We had Shavaria Novales and Christopher Osorio. They were down there, and they said that another Hispanic male that they did not know, an argument started, and that subject hit one of them over the head with a beer bottle.
Oh boy.
Which caused a severe laceration, and both of them were actually injured in this assault, and before the police arrived, unfortunately, the subject got away. So both of these individuals were seen by rescue, and we're still looking for the public's help as far as the suspect. So we're asking for their help. You know, anybody that was out that night or may have heard or seen anything, we want them to give us a call.
All right, so these 2 folks were injured. Was the suspect injured that you know of?
Not to our knowledge.
Okay. These 2 folks were lacerated beer bottles. That could hurt.
Yeah.
That's very serious.
Yes.
So do we have a description?
We have a description of a Hispanic male. So we do have a very limited description, but you know, a lot of times there's a lot going on at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night on John Street, because we've got enough businesses now to kind of have people out there roaming the streets. So we're hoping somebody out there saw something.
And this was the 100 block.
Yep, in the 100 block of North John Street.
Which is just north of the courthouse,
right?
Isn't it?
Yeah, near Torero's and the pub and all in that area vicinity.
Okay, in the Torero areas around the Arts Council.
Yep.
In that area.
All in
100 block of Friday.
The 12th.
The 12th.
Yep.
Of September.
That's correct.
All right. And if anyone has any knowledge of any kind, no matter how big or how small you may think it is, the numbers are crawling across the bottom of the screen right now.
Yep. If they'll give me a call at 735-2255 or give me a text at that 222-4230, we'd love to hear from them.
All right. And in some cases, there is a reward offered.
That's right. If there's a felony arrest in this case, and with any other case in Wayne County, they're eligible for a cash reward.
All right. Again, 919-735-2255 or 919-222-4230. Boy, I almost blew that one, didn't I?
Yeah.
919-222-4230 is the text.
Right.
And you will remain anonymous.
That's correct.
In fact, Sergeant Lerner doesn't even know who you are after you text or call.
Yep, when they call, it's blocked both ways, so I can't see their name or their number.
All right, 919-735-2255 or 919-222-4230. Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
with us. All
I
right.
appreciate it.
We are back.
Yes, we are.
All right, now if you can help out with Crime Stoppers, be sure that you made note of those phone numbers now, 735-2255 or 222-4230 to text.
Good job.
Thank you.
Wow, you're good like that.
That's about it, though. Oh, my poor brain. Okay.
We don't want to forget to tell everybody, mark your calendars for October the 25th. Really Chili Challenge.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Chili Challenge.
The Really Chili Challenge, which is the Community Soup Kitchen's annual fundraiser.
Yeah.
It's a chili cook-off to benefit the Community Soup Kitchen of Goldsboro. It's held at the Waynesboro House parking lot this year. Really?
Okay, that's the, really?
That don't. How many times are we going to say that?
I don't know, really? That's,
I don't
that's
know.
the old location of the Center Street Jam.
That's what it says on here. I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure, but
we'll have to come back with that.
We'll come back with that.
But it is on October the 25th from 11 until 2. If you would like to get a team together and compete for the best chili
Oh, boy.
and win that title here of Wayne County, you know, T.A. Loving has won it many years.
They are pretty dominating.
They are very dominating,
area.
but there are lots of teams out there. Seymour Johnson is represented.
Yeah.
Many other businesses across Wayne County are represented in this chili challenge, and it's a fun event. You and I have a good time going out and tasting all the chili.
Yes.
And I mean, it is delicious.
It is. So let's
it's
give
for a
TA
great cause.
Yeah, give TA Loving a
run
for their money. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you can put a team together, do that. But hope to see you there.
That's
because
right.
it is fun.
You can contact the Community Soup Kitchen. I don't have a phone number. We'll come back with that as it gets a little closer, but the date is October the 25th, and that is going to be happening from 11 to 2.
Somebody was asking me about that this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a great cause. I enjoy that every year.
Oh, yeah. Lots of fun. All right, today's the 23rd, and happening today at the Senior Center, they have their walking group that starts at 7 o'clock this morning, which is going on right now, unless it's later in the day. Also, billiards this morning at 10 o'clock, arthritis exercise at 10, which is a tremendous amount of fun. And it really works, arthritis exercise. If you have arthritis, I hope you go to this thing. It's on Tuesday and Wednesday at 10 a.m. They have their trivia contest 10:15, crochet and knitting, knit
about
one,
that?
purl two. That's all I know about it.
I don't know anything
And that's
about
at 1 o'clock. They have their recreational card at 1 o'clock, dominoes and checkers. Not the dog, but the game.
That's right.
At 1 o'clock. And a bunch of other stuff as well. Anyway, that's a lot of fun out at the... Did you see that?
I did.
At the Senior Center on East Ash Street in Goldsboro.
That's exactly right.
And I love that place. I guess we got to go, right?
I guess we've got to
we
go.
gotta
That's all for today.
So join us again tomorrow at this same time. We'll be right here on Wednesday, and I hope you're able to join us at that time. Until then, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kim Best, and this is what's happening in your community.